Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek. The Enterprise crew visits a pre-warp planet, but someone else was there first, and they seem to be poisoning the groundwater and causing the natives to get sick. Trip breaks into an antique shop. Archer has a translator malfunction. T'Pol is stunning, and Hoshi is... Well, where is Hoshi? Has anybody seen Hoshi?
No. I don't think that... Well, if you really want it, and if you're in the right tier, I'm sure we can get Patrick to send you a signed copy of that photo. Yes. You have to check on the... Wait, the lights on. We'll talk about this a little later, so could you please leave my quarters? Thank you. Thank you for coming aboard here on Starfleet Underground. We've had some information to give you guys as soon as we get started. My name is, of course, Captain Nathan Adams, and we're on the vessel that is always cloaked. Thanks to the dedication and the service of Section 31, they're a little bit teed off because we're trying to get away from their financial thumb. And it's going well so far. They have
their thumb is way bigger. They shouldn't worry about them because they've got a plenty big financial thumb.
Yes, they do. They do definitely have a lot of a big thumb. And I'm just worried about where they're going to stick it. However, Patrick seems to be happy about that.
Ew.
So, speaking of which...
As long as they lube enough first, it's all good.
I think he's a rough rider.
Just spit and go.
See, told you. We have here our science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer. And speaking of pissed off, some of the Tribbles are pretty pissed off at me because I asked them to do the Playboy Tribble Playmate magazine, and they weren't too keen on it. So it looks like not all the Tribbles are going to be a part of that magazine.
No, I think one of them were, because I walked into the galley and one Tribble was looking up Brazilian style. So,
well, at least some of them are into it.
Yes.
Hashtag not all Tribbles.
Yeah, I was too scared to look over its shoulder to see what a Brazilian Tribble would look like. But there's that. And we have our rough and ready computer guy.
Oh, are you referring to me being rough and ready?
Well, aren't you?
Well, you know. Anyway,
So there you go.
This is Patrick. I'm the computer guy. I'm also number one, and I'm also the foreign species liaison. Good morning. Welcome aboard.
Outstanding. And of course, we have our engineer to plug it in and let's get it going.
I just learned what Rough Rider means.
Oh,
By the way, kids are not welcome for this podcast. So if you have any kids in the room, maybe ask them to leave.
Get the fuck out.
Do you know what a Rough Rider means? Do you want to be a Rough Rider too?
If you already didn't figure this out, this is an adults only podcast.
Yeah, if you're a child and you're a rough rider, then you need to be in therapy because someone's done something bad to you.
I thought it was a Cowboys thing.
Jeez.
No.
Or is it a cowboy thing?
Nope.
Moving on.
Okay.
So, if you're a kid, you need to go because you'll find out that where babies come from is like mom sounds like she's really constipated and screams and you come out into the world. So you don't want to be able to have that in your memory. So no. Just like the little kid walks in and sees mom and dad is going at it and he runs and jumps on dad's back and dad's like, okay, I'm just going to go with it. And he's continuing really going at it. And the kid is yelling and screaming and holding on. Then all of a sudden, mom starts to make her I'm at this moment voice. And all of a sudden, little boy grabs daddy's neck really hard and squeezes. Goes, okay, dad, this is the part where mommy usually throws the postman off. So hold on.
Oh.
Wondering where that was going.
Yeah, so I know that was a bad joke. I get a worse one next week. We're going to continue on.
Anyway, I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer of the show and the ship, and I have nothing to do with these jokes.
No, they're going to be pretty bad, unfortunately.
None of us do,
I got a lot of them. Well, I do have something to do with one of these jokes, and that's
well, the rest of us don't.
Our computer person. So
Starfleet will disavow knowledge of any of your jokes, sir.
No, thankfully it's on a tight beam, so we don't have to worry about HR anymore.
Well, I know Section 31 has censored a couple of them.
Yeah, this is true.
And you know that's bad when they censor you.
Right? Right.
Yeah, they don't like the jokes I've done about them. However, you might be able to hear one or two of them later on. Corrections. We got any corrections?
Let me check subspace, but I didn't recall seeing anything. Nope.
No corrections. Outstanding. Next is news. You got any news for us there, Heather?
So Sonequa Martin Green still can't believe that she is in Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Ooh, wow. That's going to be pretty cool. I wonder how they're going to have her portrayed.
I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing, because she's an amazing actress. So I'm looking forward to seeing her play a different character, you know?
Well, is she going to be a cartoon or is she going to be appearing with the cartoon?
Well, Space Jam, don't they normally do like real life mixed with cartoons?
Like it was blended, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's so animated though. She could be a cartoon without being a cartoon.
One thing we do know for sure, though, is that she's not going to be attacked by Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, jeez.
Somebody got written out.
Because he got written out of the show, okay?
I don't get the cancel thing. I grew up with Looney Tunes, so I'm too old to understand. So I apologize to all you, the official millennials. I apologize.
What confused me is, okay, I mean, I can see from the angle that they're referring to it as a rape culture thing. But when I was watching it, all I kept thinking was, she's a cat who he thinks is a skunk, and she's trying to get
beautiful miscommunication. Hilarity.
Yeah. Well, she's trying to get away from him because he fucking stinks.
It's like just a classic comedy thing. I mean, it's just a cartoon.
If she were a skunk, she wouldn't be trying to get away from him, more than likely.
Yeah. And
So-
the whole cancel thing of it all, I just don't erase it from history. Use it as a teaching moment, but don't cancel it.
How would you use it as a teaching moment? The dude would like come up, grab her, and start kissing her, and she'd be like, "No, no, no," and he'd be like, "Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
no,
well-
yes, no." Dude, that's fucking rape culture right there.
First, explain the comedy because everybody understands the comedy right away. I mean, did you think it was funny? Because I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, when you think about it realistically, it did get old, and there were far too many, maybe a few too many episodes.
Every single one. It's like,
It was his running gag.
No.
It was every time his running gag. The best one was when at the end the cat caught a cold because she was in the water, and then she couldn't smell, and then she came around to him, and he's like, "Oh no!" That was the best one.
Maybe the skunk should learn to take no as like an answer and not like keep going.
It would be too short of a cartoon, though.
But if you notice, he never stopped talking, so he probably couldn't hear her saying no.
Well, he did talk a lot.
But if you want to talk about this a little bit, it was in a time where things were a lot different back then.
Yeah.
The public perception of what's supposed to be a man and what's supposed to be a woman was totally, because Good Housekeeping had articles about how to be a good housewife. Don't complain to your husband when he comes in, have his food ready, make sure you look nice and pretty, because, a man doesn't want to come home and have a ugly woman waiting for him. And they had all of these.
I am so glad I didn't grow up in
that shit
age.
That's all crazy stuff. I don't understand those people.
I would have flunked as a wife.
A woman's place is in the kitchen and the bedroom, man.
Yep. And of course, if you're a man, if you want a woman and she says no, if you're manly enough and kiss her, she'll melt in your arms and you can have her like James Bond.
It don't work like that.
Yeah, or some women will punch you.
Yeah. So even though she resisted, if you hold her tight enough and kiss her long enough, she'll melt.
This is not the lesson we're trying to teach with Pepe Le Pew.
Dude, I would so knee him in the groin.
Yeah.
But those are the different. Back then, that was the expected image. So,
but back then, Bugs Bunny would cross dress.
Yeah, he did.
So,
but that was acceptable and that was okay.
And it was funny.
So there's things that this just changes. So we know there's a bunch of like Blazing Saddles couldn't play today without it being.
I don't understand that either, because that movie was hilarious.
Some things age well, some things just do not age well.
I wouldn't show Pepe Le Pew fans, the children, I wouldn't show them Blazing Saddles.
Well, a lot of the cartoons back then when they first came out weren't for children. They were for adult.
There you go.
They were really, because they were being shown in the movie theaters back when you used to go to movies and you were gone all fucking night, because they had a cartoon reel, they had a news reel, and then they had a B footage movie, and then followed by your feature presentation, which that's where that comes from, was the main movie. And so a lot of people forget, well, that's also when they used to smoke in theaters as well. So you had movies that you were in the theater like 4 or 5 hours, easy. The B movie was a movie that was kind of sucky, but they had it out. And then you had your main movie. And that's why a lot of
And you had a cartoon in between them.
Yeah. I don't know if they have that anymore. I find it
interesting, though, the cartoons, I grew up with these cartoons being shown to me. Of course, they're all reruns at that point. But the humor in the cartoons, the level of humor still was quite entertaining for a child. The adult themes usually went right over the head.
Exactly.
And sometimes you'd have to ask about what the hell, what are they talking about? The humor is eternal, but, some of the other stuff, I don't know.
Well, eventually Roadrunner's going to be canceled because he's,
there's so much violence in those cartoons. But that's the way I like my violence, is cartoon style. So when I watch a horror movie, I don't care about all the spooky, I don't care about that shit. I like the cartoon style violence in the horror movie. I like seeing the coyote get his ass kicked. It's funny, But people, go watch horror movies for other reasons. And it's not about blood and guts for me.
Well, Disney has done a great job of being subtle when it comes to adult humor. So they still get away with it, like in the animated version of Mulan, when she's taking a bath in the lake and the little dragon is saying that, if he gets in the water, a couple of things is going to be apparent that you're not a man. That's it. He's talking about boobs, but they find a nice subtle way of being able to put it out there. So I guess we danced around this subject a little bit.
This is way off topic for us.
Yeah, so let's continue on. We were talking with news. Heather had news. Do you have anything else, Heather, on that?
Nope.
Okay, Patrick?
So a couple days ago, it was reported Cliff Simon from Stargate SG-1, who played Ball, died in a kiteboarding accident.
It's a shame. He was only 58.
Yeah.
That was just one day ago. So on the 12th.
Well, he actually died a couple days before that, though.
He died apparently March 9th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said one thing. One of the things he said was that acting is what I do. It's only a part of who I am. He was also a very accomplished swimmer. He's from South Africa, so he was part of the South African Air Force at one point. He was a windsurfing instructor and a model before he started doing TV and stuff. But he did a whole bunch of different things. He was on Nash Bridges, NCIS Los Angeles, Days of Our Lives, The Americans, Castle.
Wow.
So
lots of stuff. A working actor for sure. How many episodes of Stargate SG-1 did we see before we actually heard his voice?
He was only in a dozen.
His name, for those of you Stargate fans, was Balal.
And he always talked with that modified voice.
Yeah.
So that was always an interesting thing for SG-1. That was one of the weirder things I had to get used to, because all the bad guys would talk in these deep, modified voices. And it was just so weird. But he was great on screen.
Yeah.
He had qualified for the British International Olympic team in 1984.
Wow.
But he didn't compete in the games because he wanted to move back to South Africa, where he joined the South African Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
that guy did a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you get some people that look the part and some people live the part.
Yeah. And so it's a somber piece of news, but our next piece of news is WonderCon at Home. WonderCon is going to be a virtual event this coming March 26th and 27th. There will be on their YouTube channel, there's not going to be a big Star Trek universe panel this year, but CBS has a panel on TV science moderated by Anthony Rapp from Discovery, and also the Star Trek Science Advisor. There's going to be panels for Voyager's documentary and a celebration of the 20th anniversary of Star Trek Enterprise, which is what we're covering today, Star Trek Enterprise. So a quick listing of the panels. On Friday, you've got The Bright and Legal Future of Star Trek and Mental Health, 2020 TV Lessons for Better 2021, the 25th Anniversary documentary team of Voyager. And then on Saturday, you've got Rhapsody's PR, the 13th annual Behind the Music panel with Jeff Russo, who does all the music for Star Trek. And then The Science of Smart TV, moderated by Anthony Rapp. And then two more. There is Star Trek Fandom Division's Just the Generations Talking at 4. And then with Larry Nemeczek, who we all should know. And then The Companion, Star Trek Enterprise 20th Anniversary Celebration with Dominic Keating at 5 o'clock.
Cool.
That's chock full of stuff.
It's a whole Star Trek weekend. Woohoo!
Very cool.
And how about you, Rocky? You have news for us?
I was really, really excited about this news. I heard that History Channel was going to have a show about Star Trek called The Center Seat, 55 Years of Star Trek. I love the documentaries about Star Trek, and History Channel, I love their documentaries too. I don't know much about the alien stuff on that. They occasionally run things about aliens and ghosts. I kind of not watch those shows, but the Star Trek, I'm all about that. And this is cool because it's also from the same company that made Netflix's series, The Toys That Made Us. And if you've seen that show on Netflix, that's a lot of fun too, especially if you've grown up with some of these toys. It's really good stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing this documentary. I got really excited and then just saw the little note that wasn't in the main headline of the whole story. The little note is it's coming September 8th. So we've got a ways to wait for this, but it's time to coincide with the official 55th anniversary.
Yeah, and I'm just looked it up. It says each episode of the series will focus on a different chapter in the Star Trek history, starting with the inception of the original series at Desilu.
Yeah, and Gates McFadden is involved as an executive producer.
That's going to be really cool.
So I'm really excited to see what this show is going to come and look like. And the other big news, I don't know if you've noticed the really official announcement, the Star Trek Strange New Worlds show is under production. The actors made a little news blip, and we got introduced to a couple of new actors that we are not used to seeing in Star Trek. So this is going to be fun.
5 new actors have joined the team of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, a lot of, I didn't catch down the names of everybody, but a lot of them were in Black Mirror, which I just blasted through fairly recently. So these are all top-notch actors. So I can't wait. This is going to be a good show.
Well, of course, Anson Mount as Pike is just like, is dream casting, man.
So looking forward to this. This is going to be a really good next couple of years with Trek on everything.
Totally.
I can't wait to see the Pike and Spock fanfic.
Okay, sure. Which website are you getting that off of? Which hub website are you getting that off of?
There's going to be a lot of it, I'm sure.
Oh my God.
We're going to move on.
You want to talk about adults and children not watching? Oh my God. The things you can find. But yeah, go ahead. We won't talk about such things.
My news is that if you guys wanted to be able to help support us, our Patreon is live now. If you want to find our Patreon, you just go to the Patreon app or the site and do a search for Starfleet, where the first result that comes up, Starfleet Underground, you'll see us right there. We have various tiers for you to be able to afford. We will also have log files, which you can hear Patrick talk about his fan film and his head canon about Spock and Pike and everything. He'll definitely regale you on that. You'll get uncensored clips from the show. Yes, even us go uncensored. You have pictures of us in various stages of undress, which may or may not be really us. You have Tribbles centerfolds. You get Tribbles enjoying themselves everywhere, where they will actually send you a postcard. What? Tribbles doing postcards?
I think the Tribbles thing is so cool.
So they get it all over the place. We also, our computer guy, when he's not doing anything, which is quite often, you'll be able to actually have him knit you a hat. So his is a little wool cap, but it's going to be summertime.
I'm going to knit your mouth shut.
So it'd be better if you knit your ass shut. But he can knit you a cap. Even though it's summertime coming up, it still would be nice to have a beanie made with the Star Trek. They're quite good quality. I actually wind up having one of them.
Yeah, and you have a choice of blue, red, or yellow.
Well, the gold right now, I'm trying to find the right yarn.
Oh, it's a very specific shade. Yeah, that's a whole thing, right? Because it's not green. It's yellow. It's gold.
It's a gold with greenish green tint to it.
Oh, you're really going for it.
Yeah.
You could just do a regular yellow gold. I'd be happy.
Yeah, no. So I had found the perfect, when I first started doing these, I had found the perfect color yarn, but they've discontinued it. And I have not been able to find a suitable replacement for it as yet. So
for those of you that don't know from listening to the show already, you know that our computer person is anal. So he will not be making it until he can find the perfect color. But until
just
then,
because I'm gay doesn't mean that I'm anal, okay?
Well, hey.
There's a whole lot of gays who aren't anal.
Okay, then why does your door have it on it that you're a receiver, not a pitcher? What's up with that?
It does not.
He clearly denied that, sir.
My door says no entry, no exit. Because nobody's been in my quarters in years.
His door is locked.
That explains why you're full of shit if there's no exit.
His door is cobwebs, sir.
You really got to help us add to our food supply, man.
Nobody has been to my quarters in years.
Uh-huh.
Well, except all the Tribbles.
It's dusty and cobwebs. So
The
there you go.
Tribbles would say otherwise.
And they say otherwise a lot.
Anyway.
Okay. Yes, anyway. We're going to continue on, Heather.
Okay, so this week we are doing Star Trek Enterprise Season 1, Episode 9, Civilization. It first aired on November 14th, 2001. Teaser, M is for mystery. During a dull morning briefing, an antsy Archer is itching to try something new. Everything T'Pol suggests is the same old, boring, been there, done that type of event. When Trip pipes up announcing that there is an M-class planet close by, Archer nearly jumps for joy as he orders the crew to start heading that way.
That was kind of exciting. I can see that. A lot of people don't realize that out here in space, we have vast amounts of distance to travel between locations, even at our warp speed. So it's a bunch of boring nothing to do to entertain yourself.
Plenty of time to do podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, except for the pranks that we pull. The pranks are pretty fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of pranks.
One time,
Band camp.
One time at band camp, one time Rocky decided to take super glue and those googly eyes, and he googly eyes on the Tribbles. So the Tribbles would run around, and they had googly eyes bouncing around with them as they ran.
That's always a good time.
That was a fun prank.
That was really funny.
Well, at least it's not Gorilla Glue.
Yeah, no, don't use Gorilla Glue on the Tribble.
Don't use Gorilla Glue. No, please
Gorilla
don't.
Glue and Tribbles do not mix well. It's not advised.
However, I did catch Patrick do a practical joke on me I didn't appreciate. Thankfully, I had security running video in my quarters, and I didn't know until after I found out is that when I went to go to bed that night, he had undid my bed and layered the sheets with fine sand.
Oh.
So
that
I
gets
go
everywhere.
Jump. Yeah, it did. So that wasn't even something the Tribbles could eat. So I'm going to get you back on that, Patrick, later.
Yeah, Tribbles don't eat sand.
Oh, no. That's harsh. Like,
yeah, but
literally.
It was pretty bad. And you know me, I sleep Commando. So it was like, oh my God, everywhere.
That's a visual I did not need.
We call him Captain, but he's also Commando.
So...
Hey, I like the way this tease of the show started. I like the classic Star Trek Enterprise. The ship flies across, the animation of the ship flying across the screen. Classic Star Trek style.
It was.
And then they come in and we've got a thing coming and it's a great thing. And they kind of buried the lead. I love the way they did that. And that was kind of the comical element of it all. But we've got a Class M planet. That's the way Star Trek starts. A ship comes by. Oh, there's a Class M planet. Let's go check it out. It sounds exciting. Start the show music. And it's been a long... gosh darn it, that song again.
I hate that song.
Well, you made grow to love it after 5 seasons.
No, it's just torture. It's just torture.
It gets better when they remix it.
You have anything to add there, Patrick, before we go to the next section?
Nope.
It was pretty simple first little teaser there. Yeah.
Wow,
yeah, it wasn't very long. It was only like a minute or two.
That's why I thought he had something to add.
Actually, I do.
I told you. I knew it.
This episode was directed by Mike Vejar.
Okay.
Vejar. Hello, Vejar.
Is that a screen name?
Bueller.
Vejar.
I know what Vejar is.
Bueller.
I didn't look at the directed by.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The guy's last name was Vejar, and Star Trek, the motion picture, was Vejar.
Well, that's interesting. Oh. And they had a show called Voyager, which was on for quite a while. So we always called Vejar. Vejar. It says is that how he says it? Does he say it like Vejar?
Well, it's Vejar.
Okay,
how else would you pronounce it?
I think they're pronouncing it wrong. But we don't know. We don't have him here. We got to call him Mike. Somebody call Mike up and say, hey.
How do you pronounce this?
Somebody find out and let us know for the corrections for next week. All right, Heather.
Well, I thought it was Vejar, so there you go.
Mm.
At least it wasn't for JJ. Okay.
No, he's the one who did the lens flare movies.
Okay, Act 1, Archer Knows Best. Archer and the bridge crew are spying on the new M-class planet and deduct that it's pre-warp society. Archer and Trip can't wait to go down and stick their noses where they don't belong. T'Pol urges them to follow the Vulcan protocol of no first contact with pre-warp civilizations. Archer doesn't listen because he's secretly a peeping Tom who just has to insert himself into everything. Phlox disguises the away team and they take a shuttle down to the planet.
Archer's like curious, like really, really curious.
Archer's a dick.
Well, you kind of figured, they wanted to, there's no protocol set up yet for Prime Directive or anything else. And Archer's like a kid. It's like, I want to go. I want to see how we experience.
Well, it's like you see this big, beautiful amusement park. I mean, they've got the Clipper ship ride. I mean, look at all this. It looks like so much fun. Let's go and role play.
The Vulcans have procedures, and that's why she's there to help him with that. And he's not listening to her.
Well, no. She's not there to give him advice. She's there to be the science officer. Science says you shouldn't go mixing, but
science officers give advice. Captain, don't I give you advice all the time?
All the time.
See?
Constantly.
Whether it's wanted or not.
You take all the advice she gives you?
Constantly. Because if not, I'll hear it more all the time. So it's like, those pants are too tight. The length is too long. You got to shorten it more. What the hell happened to your hair?
Patrick, your butt's too big.
Yeah, all the time.
I've never heard that before.
Normally she was being nice. Normally she said it's too flat, but she was being nice. But the thing, what I liked about it is that when the makeup gets done, and then you see Trip looks at T'Pol with her hair out, and he's like, actually took a double take. It was like, ooh, damn.
Well, she lets her hair down. That's a different look for her.
Yeah, it is. And he was really flabbergasted.
Wait, she has short hair normally, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was a wig that she put on.
Yep.
Okay, we're good.
But it was all the way down her back, and Trip was like, whoa, that is like swing. So that was
swing.
She was in that episode as one of the Stargate shows, and
she was.
Her hair was long like that, and it was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But what I thought was funny is when T'Pol was saying where they should land, there was a farm so that they would risk, go in
the cornfields.
There would be limited exposure. And
that was so funny.
And Archer's like, oh, so that's why aliens must always land in cornfields.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny and probably true.
Well, that's the way the series started, was in a cornfield and a Klingon crash landing over there with the Sulban. It's a happening place to land on Earth. The cornfields.
It's remote. It's sparsely populated. If you're exposed, there's a reduced risk of cultural contamination.
And you can eat if you're hungry.
That too.
Yeah, you can pop some corn if you got some oil and some fire.
Maybe that's how the crop circles are made. They pop corn and they make it into the shapes, and then they eat all the popcorn and they leave, and we're left with the shapes.
And if you're lonely on a Saturday night.
Wow.
Is that a song?
We're in a rare mood today, aren't we, as a cast? That's for certain.
And they would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those
meddling
neutrino emissions that T'Pol's found in the middle of one of these cities on the eastern side.
Next section.
Is that next section?
Next section.
Oh, that says Act 1 right there. But anyway, I'm not saying they went there yet. I'm just saying that's where she found the emissions.
But she doesn't know about emissions. They weren't nocturnal. So we're going to go ahead and continue on, Heather.
The one line, though, is Trip says, these people don't even have indoor plumbing. My thinking is you guys want to visit them? They don't have indoor plumbing? Come on, really?
I mean, you're going to be on a away mission and you're concerned about going to the bathroom right off the bat.
At some point, you're going to need to pee.
He really likes those caves.
Well, that's for sure.
He likes dark, damp places.
Yeah.
Okay, I could say something, but instead I'm going to go to Heather, next section.
Okay, Act 2, Enterprise Crop Circles. Once on the planet, they notice an antique shop that is spewing neutrino emissions. Archer feels the need to investigate, so Trip breaks in using a sonic screwdriver stolen from the doctor. After snooping around, Rian surprises them with her mini crossbow and telling them about the recently sick villagers before she faints. Archer takes Rian and breaks into her apartment, puts her in bed, and then sticks around around long enough to go through all of her things and watch her sleep. He's a creepy-ass perv. When he finally leaves, he goes back to his away team and tells them about the sickness. Trip excitedly suggests abducting a few of the sick in the middle of the night and doing some anal probes on them, but
That's how you check their temperature.
But T'Pol shoots the idea down fast. They finally decide to ask the shop owner, and in the process, they learn that he is not from this world.
Well, we also find out, how they broke in with the sonic screwdriver, that the shop is bigger on the inside.
Well, it has a beautiful basement.
So there's quite a few Doctor Who references. Yes.
But that's later on, so we're going to stick to the outline.
Okay.
So what happened is when they get down there and they try to find out what's going on with this shop, and you see the woman, she was very, very smart. And you see Archer kind of arched his eyebrow, because she's attractive. But like Heather said, watching her sleep.
He's pulling a Kirk.
Yeah.
Dude, that was creepy.
Well,
that was just a creepy thing.
So he brings her back to her place, which is just okay. And then does so many candles. How many candles do you need to light up to light up the place? She had a lot. I think she had more candles than T'Pol did.
And he was going through her stuff and everything, and he was watching her sleep. Dude.
And you didn't hear the song playing, and you can light my candle. So
they were not heroin addicts.
Yeah, they were singing Rent though. So
yeah, that song is about heroin. So
man, Archer has some boundary problems. I swear to God.
Don't mess with a woman with a crossbow. That's my only advice I learned from here is she's got a crossbow and she may use it.
And she knew how to use it, obviously. Mm-hmm. But who she didn't pass out to Paul was a little haterade, because she's like, "Are you looking at my man?" You better not be looking at my man. I think you were looking at my man.
Well, she saw the crossbow. She was armed. She clearly stated she was armed, so she had to stun her. It was logical.
It's like, well, why are you so attracted to her, Captain? Well, she was stunning. Well, that was bad.
God.
That was bad. Okay, I'm sorry. That was really bad.
We're putting you in the brig after this.
Yeah. But she wakes up, and Archer and were able to successfully waylay her suspicions a little bit,
She could tell Archer lies like crazy.
Yeah, well, most women can tell when a guy's lying right off the bat anyway. So that was pretty interesting,
That's why gay relationships work, because guys can't tell when other guys are lying.
So when they get there and when they're breaking in using the sonic screwdriver, Archer says 78 light years to get here, and our first act is breaking and entering. Oh my fucking God, are you serious, dude?
Yeah, you got triggered. I heard you get triggered in that one too. Yeah, big time.
I got triggered. All he does is break and entering.
And goes where he's not supposed to.
I think the writers haven't agreed when they get into the writers' room. Nobody, from episode to episode, they don't agree whether or not is a breaking entering thing.
I'm going to get into the writers here later on in the next section, because they used the transporter again. So
yeah, but they didn't use it for a person though. They used it for an object.
You can't keep using that to fix all your problems.
Well, that was a good problem. Well, we can talk about it when we get to that section.
Yes, so you're right.
I want to know how many light years did they travel to get to that planet?
78.
78 light years, and there's still fucking acne.
Yeah, pretty much. They haven't come up with
okay, that one just fell flat.
That was bad. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it sort of went over my head.
The aliens had space acne from the contaminated water.
Yeah, that wasn't space acne. It was fucking lesions.
I know.
Hey, look, in the future, even Michael Dorn, even Worf had a gorge. You know that it's still there. But it was kind of interesting, because the one thing I'm a little bit miffed about, and I know I may be jumping ahead just a little bit, you bring down Hoshi because you say your translator may not work, and you never use Hoshi.
Yes.
Where was Hoshi the whole episode in the ground?
Yes.
Was she even there? I don't remember seeing her there at all.
No. Was she shopping?
That's probably what it was. She went shopping.
It's like, oh my God.
You know them women and shopping.
Well, not all women. Not all women.
It's like, look, this will be a nice macrame to hang in my quarters.
Hoshi this is a whole side plot we could have gotten with Hoshi, because she probably was shopping and she was having a good time, and it was the first time she could ever enjoy visiting another planet on her own, mingling with strange aliens, and she's going through shopping. That's like,
she wasn't in the episode at all, aside from when they first beamed down to the planet.
Yeah, it's really weird, and I think we're onto something that our friends from last week, the Yum Yum podcast, was pointing out. Hoshi is almost never involved in anything except when they kidnap her,
or when they finally do the Mirror Universe.
But that's in like the fourth season or whatever. Yeah, we've got a long way to go.
From getting from there to here.
I was going to say a short time to get there.
You did it.
I was going to quote Smokey and the Bandit, but anyway.
Yeah, because because they went through all of this explanation of how Hoshi is supposed to be important, and she basically kind of disappears.
Yeah, that was weird.
She took a background to this new Scooby Doo mystery. So it was definitely, what's going on? What's happening? Why can't we get in? And it's obvious that these guys aren't who they say they are.
Oh, the sales guy in the antique store, that guy right away was like, oh God, he's a super sales guy. Not one of them.
Well, he was totally, he looked like some big old perv to begin with. So it was like, not surprising that he was hiding some, underground mining operation. And
whenever I go into an antique store, I'm like, if I don't have it here, I got someone who can find it. I'm like, dude, you're overselling. I just want to look at the stuff.
I thought when I first saw this that they were using a replicator. It's like they got a replicator. That's why.
Thought.
Well, he even said that was his excuse too. when they get to that part of the conversation, but,
he probably did have a replicator, and he probably was using it, but that was the other room.
Yeah, I just love that it was a run on the classic joke. So you're an alien and I'm an alien. So two aliens walk into an antique store. Almost like two aliens walk into a bar.
And what do we find? We find an underground cavern that's being used for either spying.
No. Next time, next season. We haven't got there yet.
Next section.
We haven't got there yet.
I think we're there.
But no, not yet.
Not yet?
Because if, let's say...
Next section.
Wait, I'm just saying that if I was an alien on a planet and I had access to holodeck technology, I would ask people, tell me what your biggest dream place you want to go and the fantasy you have, and write it down. And I would go, take a sip of this magic water and you will live your fantasy, right? And then have them take the sip of the water, sneak a stun gun, stun them, put them in the middle of the room, put it on the holodeck with their parameters.
That sounds very Pepe Le Pew to me.
And then they could have whatever fantasy they write down. I'm not a part of it. It's what they write down.
Man, you're ruining Pepe Le Pew for me now.
And then once it's finished, once they get done, stun them again. And people go to this place. They got magic water that make dreams come true. It seems so real. And it'd be a holodeck.
Yeah, that's you're doing that without their consent.
They don't even have indoor plumbing, and you're trying to blow their minds with the holodeck.
If they write down what they would like to experience after drinking the magic water, how is that?
They didn't agree to be stunned.
Oh, you're reaching.
I don't know, man. If I was going to visit an alien planet, I think I just want to go see the tourist sites myself. I don't want to take them on a tour.
Yeah, I had a friend that had a great idea back when we used to do LARPing, which is LARPing. And he had an idea which I thought was going to be cool, but I talked him out of it. But in actuality, it sounded like it would be fun. He said he was going to invite friends over, tell them to bring supplies for at least 2-3 days. And when they come to his house, he's going to tell me he found a spell book that will send them back into time. And it will allow them to experience it. And he's done it. And he would put this big, elaborate circle in the middle of the floor. And then as he explaining it, he would serve drinks with knockout pills. When they all get knocked out, he would put them in the back of his truck, drive in the middle of his property because he owned a 150-acre farm, and put them in the middle of the exact same circle, and then drive off and have hidden cameras to watch what happens when they wake up.
Yeah, no.
This is why we don't tell the kids to listen to our show.
And if you think about it, he said, like, for the first couple of seconds when people wake up, they'd feel like the thing really worked, that they were in another place in another time and everything. But I said, like, first off, you don't know if reaction for the knockout
until
pills.
They filed the assault charges with the local constabulary.
This is like escape room level 2.
Yeah, and then I would like, okay, what happens if the person you have there secretly hated someone else and they thought they were in another time? It would kill him. He goes, oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, whoops.
So it was definitely.
Or they had an allergy to whatever knockout drugs you gave them and they died.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be bad.
That would have been worse. But okay, now that I went off on my own tangent, I guess we can go to the next section.
Okay, Act 3, Translator Malfunction. Archer talks with the shop owner, and he confirms that he is also an alien, and the neutrinos were from his replicator. He then gets Rion's side of the story while T'Pol tests some of the liquids in her laboratory. She immediately takes the findings to Phlox, who determines that the disease as well as the cure. The water is contaminated from industrial toxins that the shop owner is using. Archer and Rion go back to the shop the next night to spy on and follow those crates, during which Rion has a Me Too movement when Archer kisses her without consenting, blaming the translator for not understanding the word no. Then a UFO takes the crates and flies off, leaving the two flabbergasted. But it leaves one of its lizard crewmen behind, which ends up being perfect since this is how they were going to break through to the apothecary shop owner anyway.
Well, she didn't have time to say no. He kirked her.
She had plenty of... Dude, she was talking and talking and talking. No. And he kissed her and then talk. Nope, kissed her. Okay. I mean, she had plenty of times to say no.
This is a really bold move on Archer's part. He's very lucky that it worked, because 9 times out of 10, I would have gotten kicked in my balls so hard, I'd be singing soprano for the next 3 decades.
Dude, 9 times out of 10, that kiss is going to have some kind of intergalactic herpes, oral herpes or something involved with it.
How do we not know that this is actually how these aliens kiss?
Well,
what if they're like nose lickers or something? Yeah. What if they're like eyebrow suckers? How do we know that this is like the worst thing you could possibly do at this point in time?
Maybe it was the equivalent of sticking a thumb up a butt.
Right. Yeah. This is really taboo.
Yeah, you're right. That was the first thing I thought of. It's like, how do you know that is a universal thing?
And then the fucking, it is just like technology today. The damn computer reboots exactly when you tell it not to. It's like the translator has to go down right now, of all places, and then he has to reboot, and it's still rebooting when it comes back up. It comes back up. It's like, nope, I'm still rebooting. So you've got to wait for it to get back up entirely. So he's got to kiss her even deeper. I mean, gosh.
It's funny on IMDb under the goofs section. It says it's an odd coincidence that all the Akali's culture also involves kissing, and that it's has the same meaning. It's more odd that Archer would make that assumption.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. I agree.
Archer thought the translator said yes.
Oh, I thought you said yes. Oh, I thought that you said kiss me.
Really? My translator said yes.
We were talking about our dogs, and now you're like, kiss me? Okay.
Is this like he doesn't? It's like, are you satisfied? No, not yet. How about now? No, not yet. How about now?
And oh my God, what if she wanted to go further? Oh God, Archer, you don't even know what you're getting into. They might have been like, Klingons, like the double angle thing. So
he doesn't know what kind of like culture they have. What if the female kills the male after sex?
Like a black,
yes.
Well, like they had a thing once in Firefly on the episode where they go down and have a big party, and the captain gets back onto the ship and found out that he's married.
Or pregnant.
Right. He didn't know the culture. And it's like, you drank from the same bowl. That means you're committed and married. Wait, what?
Yeah, what? Excuse me?
How does he know that? He could have had that happen. But yeah, you're right. That's why there's a prime directive for a reason. So
let's put that prime directive into commission, man.
Right. Which, by the way, T'Pol tried to tell him, Vulcans have procedures for this. And he's like, nope, I'm not listening to any of your Vulcan procedures.
No, it's the same thing if you go to another country. Some places, if you use your left hand to shake someone's hand, it's an insult because that's their cleaning hand.
And so, when they talk about cleaning, they're not talking about with toilet paper.
Yeah, so that you don't do that because it's an insult. Or if you wave and show the inside of your palm, that's considered an obscene gesture. You got to learn about cultures if you're going to visit some places. And he just went down without learning anything.
Yeah. In Japan, if you bow, like how deeply you bow determines like the respect of the person that you give.
That is correct.
If you don't bow low enough, you'll be pissing them off.
And are you supposed to look in the eye? Because
No.
I learned from Karate Kid, you're supposed to look them in the eye, and I don't know.
Really?
I've never.
No,
that's the only one I've ever seen them look in the eye was in Karate Kid.
When you put your head down. So when you meet them, you give them your business card, but you don't like just hand them your business card. You actually hold your business card with two hands and you put your head down and you look down while you like give them the business card. And then after they take it, then you do your bow. I really like Japanese culture.
But
Is Karate Kid Japanese or is it Chinese?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they went to Japan and Okinawa in the second one.
Yeah, so
That doesn't mean the
Okay.
movie people knew what they were doing.
That's possibly true.
That's true.
What's a trip is when you hear Pat Morita in other things, and it's like he doesn't talk like Mr. Miyagi at all.
No.
The one thing I thought was
Like
really
Arnold
also-
from Happy Days.
Right.
Well, yeah,
That's old school. So all you kids need to Google up Happy Days
No,
and the Karate
kids,
Kid.
no kids.
Oh,
kids.
there's no kids. Don't worry about it.
No kids. No kids. They don't look. Now, if you're an adult going through your second childhood, yes, go
yeah, of course.
I do it. But other than that, no kids. One thing I notice about sci-fi shows also, which I find to be interesting, it seems to be a universal concept of bras.
Oh,
Did you say bras?
fascinating.
Yes. Universal
Bras.
concept. Yes. Aliens. Everywhere, every species, every female species.
They all
somehow.
got to put bras on.
Yeah.
What is this thing with bras? Why do people have...
Well, you know, I mean,
It
some
would be the
women
same
don't.
thing if they
Some
showed
women don't
jock straps.
necessarily need them, but some women definitely need them. Otherwise,
Well,
their
women
boobs are going to
need
be hanging
them,
down
but
to their
do
knees.
alien women need them?
But exactly.
I'm going to go on a rant about bras if we start talking about this. Let me just say there are some people out there that get really, really pissed off if you're not wearing a bra and you have to wear a bra 100% all the freaking time, and it's really annoying.
I don't understand the reason behind that. And they actually found out that it causes more problems than actually what they were supposed to do. Because it
How am I not
causes,
surprised?
It causes the chest muscles to lose strength, and
Yeah.
you actually wind up becoming less firm when you
And
wear
sag
one.
more.
And sag more when you wear them.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting. But it was just a thing that I observed one time. And it's like, how is underwear, just period, for men and women, a universal thing in all alien species?
Yeah. I mean, they might be going commando. There's some people that go commando.
Yeah, it's just, I just find it a foreign concept.
Well, it's interesting if you look at the costumes over the years in Star Trek for the women, and the original series had some amazing looking outfits, but
Well,
you
they
wonder
did.
what they're wearing. And even the next generation, they visit that one planet where they're all wearing bikinis and playing volleyball all the time. I mean, and until Wesley trips and knocks over a bush.
Yeah. If this was real, it would be more like a nudist beach or something.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I was just curious on that. Okay.
It's either that or everyone's all wearing robes and they look like Jedis.
Now that would be cool.
But robes aren't logical for swimming.
Exactly.
I'm scared now because Patrick hasn't said a word.
You okay, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm fine.
It's a code word, fine.
Okay, there we go.
The way you said it.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, I just didn't have anything to say.
How about let's
worried.
talk about the shopkeeper dude who's a Malurian. Now, do you guys recognize who the Malurians are?
No, at first I thought he looked almost like a Suliban when I first saw the review.
Well, when you
No, he was-
reveal their face, that ends up what they look like. They're the green lizard type guys.
He was Madame Vestra from Doctor Who.
But Madame Vestra was nice. She wouldn't have done that.
I actually found this on Memory Alpha. Mike Sussman saw the incorporation of the Malurians as an amusing inside joke because the original series, The Changeling, they talked about a species being the Malurians being wiped out by Nomad.
Oh.
And he thought, well, wouldn't it be a great idea to see these guys again? So they made them the bad guys in this episode and then get what's coming to them in the future because Nomad kills them all.
Oh.
So-
That's actually pretty...
I thought that was cool. And
Interesting, it
I'm
is.
not the Trekkie kind of guy that would remember the name and catch this inside joke. So to catch it now by being explained to me right here was like, that's really cool.
And let's also with did we get to the part where they followed? Yeah, they followed.
Yeah.
With the alien. She took it rather well to see an alien ship come up and teleport those things up.
Because I'm sure
tractor
people
beam.
be like, holy shit, that thing's flying. Holy cow, there's a beam there. Oh, that's lifting those things up. Oh my God.
Yeah, how many people would have turned around and hightailed it and ran, screaming,
Exactly.
a Satan god came down.
It's a space dragon. Run.
Oh my
No,
God.
remember, it's Draylen. Draylen's their god of the afterlife.
Yeah,
Oh.
so
Not Satan, it was Draylen.
That's right. That's another thing that was, they walk into that, here's this mask. What do you think about this? And like, what's that? You don't know who Draylen is?
He's the leader of the afterlife.
I mean, hello.
it was.
Where are you people
definitely-
from? Oh, we're from another province. Like, really? Like what? On the other side of the planet?
And then she handled it really, really well, especially when it ripped off the Play-Doh mask. And it's like, what is that? It's just, I thought that she was really mature on how she handled it. And
I thought it was a crossover episode from V.
And then Archer's got a phaser and he's not freaking out and she kissed him and like, oh my God, this woman is really, really chill about stuff.
Well, that tea she was drinking probably had, marijuana in it.
Was Archer near the tea?
You think he drugged the tea?
I wouldn't put it past him.
Oh, you're trying to say he Cosby'd her. Well, what happened is that if I was a female at that point, and let's say, and I didn't freak out about the aliens, and I mean about the ship lifting off, and then when he flips the guy over and half his face is gone, and you see the alien, my first response was, oh my God, did I kiss you and you look like that? Is that really your face? Like,
Maybe that's what she looks like too. Oh,
it's
wow.
like, what do you look like?
Are you sure it's a she under there? Could be a he.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a surprise. Oh, Archer, you didn't learn about these aliens.
Oh my God, that would have been so funny. It's like, we're the male of the species. But yeah, then they get
She's
back.
like, here, drink some tea. Now bend over.
Yes.
And he gets the door opener. I mean, they get the garage door opener.
Is that what they're calling it now? When they're getting their pants off, the door opener.
It's like, okay, all right. So they got it. And they go back to the shop. And that's the next section. Oh my God, I have a tirade, a Heather level
Should we
tirade.
go to the next section?
Yeah.
Okay, Act 4. Transporter saves the day again. The crew figures out that the shop owner is mining rocks used for explosives, and then they try to stop him. This results in fighting both in space and on the ground. Archer can finally disable the dampening array, allowing Enterprise to beam the reactor out into space so they can destroy it without hurting anyone, except the enemy ship that they were targeting. Archer celebrates this big win by kissing Rihanna again. HR opens up another investigation, but it quickly falls apart when he turns in the NDA he forced Rihanna to sign.
I think you're rewriting the show a little bit.
A little bit.
Maybe a little. Maybe a tad.
The one thing that gets me really ticked off is when they get inside and Archer is deciding to try to figure out how to drop the shields around the place.
Is it the yellow button or the
Yeah.
blue button?
Right. She tells him logically what she thinks it is.
It
And
should be
he
the
being
yellow
a
button. He goes for the
typical
blue
man.
one.
Yeah, he's a typical man. It's like, yeah, I'm the Earth guy. I'm the captain. I'm not going to listen to you. And he picks the wrong one. And then he basically looks surprised when the alarms go off. He's like, oops, you were right. And
I'm
then he
surprised
even
that the alarms
apologized.
went off. Like, oh my God. Is that standard procedure when you turn off was it turning off the shields? Does the alarm go off normally?
No, the shields didn't go. Turn the alarm off. Turn the alarm on. And she didn't even do like my mom used to do when I did something stupid. She would just look at me and go, mm-hmm. She just, it's like, oh.
Like I said, you should have put the yellow one on, dummy.
And he mansplained it. And it's like, no, this is it. And this is what, it's like, oh, dude, that's not a good look.
And the translator doesn't work on the other language's image screen. So
That's why you had to kiss her again.
Oh, I can't read what that sign says. Here, let me kiss you.
It says to kiss, see? No, it doesn't. It says...
No,
Exactly.
honestly, there's a dip switch in the back of your throat which turns it on. I need to get my tongue there.
Oh, no.
Dang. That's some tonguing right there.
Oh my God.
But so they could read the IDs enough to make an ID, but they couldn't. Well, that's a different language because that was the Malurian language interface that we couldn't read. Okay, that makes sense.
But he hands her the phase pistol and is like, okay, anybody comes through the door, I want you to shoot them.
Yeah, just pull the trigger. And she should have been like, well, what's a trigger?
Yeah, that was my thought too. That was my thought.
Although she had the crossbow, so she kind of knows what a trigger is, right?
Well, she must have known what she was doing because she had the safety off and everything.
Oh, she was ready to phase anybody.
Yeah, but she didn't. They come through the door and she's like, I can't fire in time. You had it out there.
You know, if this was reality, she'd be looking at it like, why isn't it going off? And then it'd go off in her face.
Yeah, whoops. Well, she almost points it at him right as soon as he hands it to her. She almost points it right at him. I'm like, oh my God, that's a no-no right there.
Yeah, this is why you shouldn't give phasers to people who don't know how to use them.
One of the all-time winners of the Darwin Award was this guy that went to rob a bank. He went to shoot the person in there and the gun didn't go off. So he turns the gun around, looks down the barrel, and he pulls the trigger.
Never, ever do that. Well, it's the last thing you do.
Yeah, so you can actually find that, and it's not a fake story. Go to the Darwin Awards.
Yeah, that's Darwin at its finest.
Yep. So, but the thing is, like, Archer messes up and he didn't apologize. I was waiting for him to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Yeah, I am so sorry about that.
And you were right.
Sorry. I can't even tell you. I'm just sorry.
And the thing is that I see that every time Enterprise comes up now, because it shows that how we're such a new starship, every starship they come across outmuscles them.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have shields to the point to where they can actually defend themselves. And they certainly don't have any phasers yet.
Yep.
And all they got is those photon torpedoes. Yeah.
Don't they have a phase cannon? Well, they
have hand-phased pistols. They don't have the phase cannon yet.
The cannons weren't installed later on.
Yeah, they get that later. They got a grappler. They can fucking grapple with steel cable. I mean, hello, in space.
They can cop a feel on other ships.
Yes.
They can feel your ship up, but they can't defend themselves.
Let's grapple the ship and whip them into the sun.
Exactly. We're going to tow your ass to the nearest star.
And they're not even that strong.
What I thought was really interesting, and it just goes to prove Trip's bias against Vulcans, he immediately jumps to the conclusion that T'Pol is going to leave the captain
I was
on the planet.
Angered by that. They're still doing this.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm flipping out over
wow,
here. She's on your ship.
dick.
She's part of your fucking crew now. She's not going to leave the captain. She's taking command, and you can't just start belaying her orders like that. That's not cool.
It's disrespectful.
Total dick move, man.
She had a chance to leave the ship last episode and she decided to stay with the crew. Wouldn't that mean like that's like official? She is a part of the crew?
Right. She's in it to win it. I mean, come on, guys. Give her some slack here.
Yeah,
and you know what
petty.
she did? She's the one that saved the whole episode. She's the one that beamed the power supply up and then beamed it back at the ship and blasted it with a torpedo. And that's what knocked them down. She's the one that did that. And you got to love T'Pol. I'm liking her so much more now. I can't understand why they still don't trust her.
Well, it's Trip
because she's a woman?
Yeah. It's Trip that basically doesn't trust her much.
You know what also
That's
happens?
That's like normal for women.
You know what also happens later in the episode? What else does a woman do? She points out that light over there. It's got that fluid underneath it. If you blast that, it's explosive. It'll knock the other guys down. Another woman saves the day.
And did he thank her for that?
To save the day. That Mighty Mouse is on the way.
And when everything gets finally done, he's like, okay, I had that moment when I stared at you sleeping. I had that moment when I kissed you, but don't tell anyone we're aliens. And she's like, seriously? Do you think I'm stupid? Who's going to believe this?
And then I love at the very end, she's like, did your translator break again?
Yeah, that was funny.
He is very lucky that she's into it. She's some freakazoid kind of science girl or something because she's into it.
You know, she told her best friend. She totally told her best friend.
She's like, girl, I met this guy from space.
Oh my God.
He was like so cool. Just
You
like,
met
oh
a
my God.
spaceman? You did a spaceman.
my
Well, I didn't do him, but I kissed him.
I totally did him. He didn't understand how our anatomy worked, and I totally did him.
She totally did him really hard in the face.
Totally did him in the shop, man.
How was it?
Right?
It's like,
Our tongues actually touched. It was awesome.
You should have seen the size of his thumb. Oh my God.
Big bums.
You know? So
we are just some really sick people.
Yeah. Pretty sick. The only other thing about this episode that really gets me, aside from how evil the Malurians are, it's like, it's just this place has got 1 billion people. It's only a couple thousand. We're gonna, poison to death. That was so evil.
And this episode takes place 130 years and 4 months into the future.
Wow,
and it's not that far.
That's it.
It occurs July 31st, 2151. It's now 2021.
Well, we were supposed to have flying skateboards and we don't have flying skateboards, and we were supposed to have flying cars and we don't have flying cars. And there's a list.
And we do have a transporter, but nobody's telling anybody about it. And you don't want to do it anyway because it's going to kill you.
And screw the replicator because I don't want to eat shit.
The replicators are shitty.
We do have antimatter though, and we do have cloaking ability. So
that's cool.
There's those things.
We're getting there.
And we have communicators and pads and
we got all that good stuff.
They
don't even have a pad.
We get cars that drive themselves. We get cars that park themselves. We have voice activated systems. So
we have doors that open by themselves.
Yep. So we're definitely getting there.
Slowly but surely. Don't call me Shirley.
I wanted to make a note because historically, when they were shooting this episode, this was the one they were filming when September 11th happened, when 9/11 happened. And one of the guys, I guess Mike Sussman's a producer. I should have looked that up because I quoted him earlier. He said he still can't watch this episode because every time he looks at the footage, he can see the moment the enthusiasm in the actor's eyes changed. So it's on camera when it happened, when they were shooting it, that their spirits changed when they were shooting.
I can believe that.
That's just deep right there.
Was it after the thumb in the butt?
No, it was on.
That will typically change the mood.
Yeah, it was on. It was either they were shooting the bridge and they were shooting sick bay that day. So it was one of the scenes on the bridge or sick bay. Okay. So I'm sure if you rewatched again and started looking, you may notice it.
Maybe when they were changing their appearances before they went down on the planet.
Could be something like that.
Well, that explains why also T'Pol even looked more stoic than normal. So there was that. Other than that, it was a episode which you can understand why they came up with a lot of procedures, because a lot of that stuff would have failed to happen if they had just followed procedure.
If your universal translator goes out, kiss the girl.
Yeah.
It's either that or you're screwed.
I kissed a girl and I liked it.
Dude, you're going to get punched. If you do that, you're going to get punched, just so you know. Or need.
So they was gonna do like Sebastian the Crab, la 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 la, go on and kiss the girl.
Yeah, I
and that's why he was thrown in a pot in the kitchen and boiled to death.
And it's funny you did it,
which was just animal cruelty.
Ouch.
So, what's our next week homework?
I know.
Okay, Patrick.
Next week, the episode is called Fortunate Son. It's the season 1, episode 10, which originally aired on November 21st, 2001.
Cool.
And what's the synopsis for that one?
Enterprise is sent to help the freighter Fortunate after an attack. However, its first officer, Ryan, is hiding something.
Ooh, a mystery episode.
So this is the one where
he's hid the sausage.
I wasn't going to go sausagey.
And Archer has to go find it.
And it's directed by LeVar Burton.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool. Now, I guess this episode we just saw is kind of the most Scooby Doo episode, because it turns out it was the damn aliens all the time when they did the face reveal.
All you had to do was take the mask off.
That was Scooby Doo-ish.
Damn meddling kids.
Which you know what's funny is because when I was watching this last night, I'm in the middle of watching season 4 of Fringe, and the episode of Fringe that I was watching last night had Scooby Doo on in the background.
Cool.
That's cool.
Talk about Kismet. Yeah. And thanks everyone for joining us on reviewing this episode. And don't forget, if you're going to want to support us here, we have our Patreon, which you can find a link on our show notes. If you go to our website, we have all the links and the little bios on everything that we have there for our social media. You'll be able to find it. So please go ahead and couple of bars of Gold Press Latinum our way. We'd greatly appreciate it. So we can do some upgrades to the ship and redo the galley to make it heather-proof. We were told that that's impossible, but we're going to try. Anyway.
Sounds like a challenge.
So
We'll see what happens.
It is, if we can make it unburning. So this is going to be really cool. So this is going to be one of those days which I think that I'm going to let the end of the show, actually, someone else say it this time. So I think this time we're going to go with Heather because she's done a lot of work behind the scenes. So Heather, take us home.
Oh, did you have to do that? I don't know what to say.
Okay, then next week we'll put it there. Yes, you do. You do know what to say. Go ahead.
Thanks for watching.
No.
Listening.
No.
Oh, she really doesn't know what to say. She's so honored by this, sir.
I can hear in her voice. All right, then, Rocky, because Patrick has said it once before. Rocky,
Well,
your
don't
turn.
just go have a great week. Make it so.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, that's what I was
And we're
supposed to
out.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're
I didn't know what I was supposed to say.
I mean, how many episodes have we been doing this, and that's always how we end the show?
The trick is the phrasing.
Usually when Nathan starts talking and it's the end of the show, I zone out.
That's what I was going to say. So that's what happens. Now I know. You don't listen to your captain
I'm
at
just
all.
waiting for the music to start and me to start talking at the end. I mean, what?
Sorry.
Wow.
Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground. And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/StarfleetUnderground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them.